Welcome to Forging a Life podcast with Coach Christine Clark. Forging a Life is a Sunglow transformation production aired on Transformation Talk Radio and all your favorite podcast platforms. If you own a business, have a side hustle, desire to make the leap into self-employment, or just love human interest stories, Forging a Life podcast is for you. Christine Clark is an internationally certified transformational life coach. She is the coach for your entrepreneurial life, and these are her people. Jump into the fire with those forging success on their own terms with courage, tenacity, and resilience. These are men and women you could easily meet on the street in your own community. Gain wisdom, insight, knowledge, and inspiration each episode as these business owners get transparent with Coach Christine Clark, sharing their passions, challenges, and origin stories. This is Forging a Life.
Hello and welcome to Forging a Life. I am Coach Christine Clark. Today my guest is Corinne Cole. Corinne is a licensed cosmetologist, esthetician, and also a hairstylist. Welcome to the show, Corinne.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You are most welcome. I always like to start off with just having people share a little bit about your background and what you do. So what's all involved with hairstylist and esthetician, and what are your fortes right now?
A little bit about me. I've been a hairstylist for 20 years now. I worked in a full-service salon for 10 years. December 1st, 2000 is when I first started at my very first salon. There, I did both hair and skin. I did facials and body treatments. Then I also did some pedicures and manicures and that kind of stuff. So then 10 years ago, after my boss had sold her salon to somebody who actually wasn't even a stylist, he really didn't know much about how to run a salon. And there were just some things that I was unsure of. So I decided to go a different route and decided to open up my own salon. So, and my daughter was 10 months old at the time, and I knew that I did need to make more money and be able to set my own hours because of her. So that's when I decided to take the leap. I had actually, the lady I rent from, she had asked me a few years before if I would be interested in going on my own because she had purchased some land and built this building. I called her up and I said, would you be interested in building salon suites in there? Because I'm ready to go on my own. And she said, sure, give me 90 days and we'll have it up and going. So that was perfect timing. Gave me time to prepare and do everything I needed to do to get to put in place for me setting up my business. So I was the first one in there, and there was 6 rooms at the time, and within 7 months they were all full. So that was excellent.
When you share that, Corinne, my thought was you had a 10-month-old baby and you're choosing to step away from working for someone else in their salon on your own. I hear because you wanted the flexibility of being able to run your own schedule.
Oh,
and
yes.
That just seems frightening to me. But the timing of it, to do it when you have a 10-month-old, tell me about making that work.
Well, it was nerve-wracking, but I have great supportive parents who helped me a lot when they would watch my daughter for me. And then, of course, my boyfriend was all about it. So between those people, I was able to do it. And I had a great daytime babysitter also who my daughter loved to go to. So that made it a lot easier.
So you had the support, you had parents, you had a boyfriend that was involved, you had a good daycare. What kind of schedule did you run?
Well, I have Mondays off. So that was easy enough. So then I just decided to work 4 days a week, Tuesday through Friday. And then I would work some Saturdays. I didn't want to work every Saturday because of my daughter. And also my boyfriend, he works out of town and he's usually only home on the weekends. So that's another reason I wanted to be on my own, is to be able to have that flexibility. So I actually work 3 long days on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then I work Fridays. I was usually off by 5:00. Now that my daughter's in school, I like to be able to pick her up from school. So Mondays and Fridays, I work school hours.
And what I know about you, tell people how far you drive.
I drive 45 minutes one way because when you want land, it's not plentiful around the Des Moines area without it being outrageously pricey. So that was our main reason for moving so far away, but it's manageable. It's not terrible. I've been doing it for 10 years now. So
yeah,
it's just what I know.
It's a longer drive, 45 minutes, and your payoff is that you're living in the country, which is what you want.
Yep.
Yeah. How many acres do you guys have?
18.
Nice. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Why did you get into cosmetology? I mean, what were the things that maybe throughout your life guided you to this? What was the choice to choose hairstylist?
Well, originally when I was probably about 5 years old or so, a friend of mine that lived down the street from me, her mom, but she would cut and color people's hair and perm people's hair out of her home. And I guess that just kind of gave me the idea. And then I have 2 younger sisters, and my mom suffers from rheumatoid arthritis. And so as soon as I was old enough to do their hair, I learned how to French braid at a really young age and to do ponytails and regular braids. So
how old were you when you learned how to French braid?
Probably 7 or 8. I did their hair and I just grew up liking it. And then eventually when I was in high school, my mom and my grandma would trust me to give them home perms and trim their hair up. So that's kind of why I got into it.
Yeah. You've been doing hair your whole life.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So did you go right into cosmetology school right out of high school?
Yep. So I graduated in May, and then I took the summer off, and I started then in September, like when you would normally start back up in the fall. So then it was a 15-month program. So I graduated from cosmetology in December of 99. And then I started working at a salon then that January 1st of 2000. And then I decided I wanted to get my aesthetics license. So then I started that also in January. And that was a 6-month program. So I finished that then that following June of 2000. I thought, well, if for some reason I decided that hair's not really my thing and I like more of the skincare and makeup, because I also did makeup when I worked in the full service salon also. I still do like waxing and sugaring and that kind of stuff, hair removal. But I thought, getting my aesthetics license, that if all else fails, I could get a job maybe like at a dermatologist clinic and do different skincare, facials or different skin treatments. So that was one of the things why I decided to get into the skincare as well.
Broaden your skills, what you're certified to do, more variety in employment if you needed it, chose it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you were smart. Yeah. Early on, you got the opportunity to work with a major company, and you told me that you got to go places like Chicago and LA. And so tell me a little bit about.
Well, yes, I worked for a well-known brand out there, which I love. They have awesome education. You know, they do have great products and hair color and perms and all that. And I definitely learned a lot from working from that company. I got to travel to New York City to do trainings there, California, New Orleans, Chicago. I would go to Chicago at least once a year, if not twice. And then Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, Orlando, Tampa. So yeah, I got to do a lot of traveling with them. And what I would travel for would be either for training to better my hair skills, whether it be for cutting or coloring or both. And then I also got to travel to different corporate hair shows, big hair shows with like thousands of hairstylists that would come. And I did mainly everything behind the scenes, like helping prep the models, whether it be for makeup or hair. I just liked being a part of it. And I like being behind the scenes and learning everything that I could from these famous platform artists.
Yeah. So did you get to like be able to rub elbows with somebody famous?
I never like got to meet anyone like say like Hollywood, just like famous in my industry, like people that, you know, they travel the whole world and teach people about hair, you know, whether it be from cutting or styling. I got to learn from artists that are like the brand that I worked for, like their top educators. Mm-hmm. So that was really cool. That was very, very cool. New York City was probably, they have, that's like where their big education center is. So I got to go there a couple of times. So definitely wonderful experience and getting to see New York City also. I could never live there, but it was definitely fun to visit.
Fun to go there, yeah. In my mind, I've got these things are popping. I'm thinking, you know, Project Runway or Devil Wears Prada with all the models and, you know, the hair and the makeup and the, you know, chaos behind the scenes. Is any of that real, or is that just, that's all movie stuff?
Oh yeah. These hair shows are very similar to that. It's pretty amazing. They even hire stylists, like clothing stylists, to bring in like tons and tons of different fabric, clothing, you know, you name it, fabric for these main stage artists to come and decide how they want to, or what they want their models to wear to help emphasize what they're doing to their hair.
Wow.
So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Sounds like it's a lot of fun.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
So how long did you do that?
I did that for, I want to say a good 5 years-ish.
Okay. Cool.
So, but the reason I got out of it was because of my daughter. It just got too hard, too much to be able to travel like that, relying, you know, on friends and family to watch your daughter that often. It was a little too much. So, and another reason was, even though I loved what I learned from that company, my skin didn't like their products. So I suffered from eczema really bad.
Wow.
And it wasn't until I finally found the one that I currently use about 5 years ago, and my skin has completely cleared up. So now my mission is to use as clean a products as I can on myself and my clients.
Tell me about that process for you to have lived with that, experienced that, and now are free of it. You know, that's huge.
Well, a lot of times eczema can be different things. Like it can actually like be caused from like internal like gut health, or it can be more like contact dermatitis. Like there's different things trigger it, where more like contact dermatitis, which is still like eczema, but it's caused by touching something that you're allergic to. And so that's basically what I suffered from. I would, growing up, I never like had the chronic eczema. But if my mom used a certain laundry detergent, or, you know, if I used a certain body wash or something and my skin didn't like it, it would. And I actually started getting eczema in beauty school. And then by probably 2 years after I graduated from beauty school, I thought, ooh, am I going to have to take, you know, like get out of this profession? My hands and my arms were just so horrible. It looked like I had been burned. They were like red from the tips of my fingers up to my elbows. Mm-hmm. I went to dermatologists, had all sorts of different creams and salves and all that stuff, and nothing really helped. I would wear gloves when I shampooed. It did help, but it never completely cleared up until I just started using cleaner hair products that didn't have like propylene glycol and sodium lauryl sulfate and some of those other chemicals in it that will definitely cause allergies, skin allergies. So that's when I started doing more research and figuring out what to look for in certain products, what not to use if they have those certain ingredients in them.
Were you able to pinpoint your own specific allergies, those things that would trigger the dermatitis for you?
No, I never actually went and had like the testing done that they can do for that. But I'm assuming it has a lot to do with like the sodium lauryl sulfate and the propylene glycol, because if I can tell now, like if I use a product with that in it, like my skin will get kind of scaly and not looking nice. So I'm guessing it's one or both of those product or those ingredients that causes my skin allergies.
Yeah, from personal experience, getting cleared up and then running into it and having the reaction. Yeah. So tell me about clean products. What are clean products?
Well, clean products are just ingredients that are healthier for you, that don't cause anymore. There's so many chemicals in all the products that we touch every single day that can cause cancer, skin allergies. They're just toxic. With that being said, I wanted to find a product line that as clean could be. It's not twigs and berries, but it's definitely got ingredients in it that are a lot healthier for you. And I wanted to use those on my clients too, because I care. That is my reason for changing.
You switched over and just started using cleaner products. This is what people that come to your salon are going to get, because that's what you use. Have people noticed? Are people wanting to be educated or asking questions?
But yeah, I have had a lot of people switch over to the new products and really love them like I do.
Nice. In the last 20 plus years that you've been hairstylist, who are some of the people that really mentored you? Or tell us about some particular, clients or the people that you've gotten to know that are special.
Well, my boss from the salon that I worked at, she was very much into her employees. She was really wanting us to be good hairstylists. So she put a lot of time and effort into that. And she was very much for education. So she would make sure that we went to the latest and greatest hair shows. Also, she would bring different artists or different educators into our salon to actually do in-house education. So that was something I'm forever grateful for. And she's just a great stylist and just a good person. And she was always there for me. I call her my second mom because she definitely kind of took on that role as like she wanted me to be successful, and it showed. And I am forever grateful for having her. Of course, working for Redken, meeting tons of people that way, like, yeah, it's amazing. I wouldn't be who I am without those people, for sure.
Yeah, without the experiences. That's nice. And the people. That's beautiful.
Yes.
That's beautiful. In your salon, there's a picture of you and an older lady.
Yep. Yeah, her name was Sherry, and she passed away in June or July of this year, not from COVID, but she had some health problems and she was in a wheelchair and her organs just ended up shutting down. So unfortunately she passed, but she was a little lady that would come every Wednesday at 2:00, and her husband would bring her, and I cut his hair also. But how I got started doing her hair was, so Sherry actually went to another hairstylist out in West Des Moines. And when that lady went on vacation, she would actually go to a different hairstylist that I worked with in my salon suites. Well, she had an appointment scheduled with that lady who I worked with, and the lady's husband ended up having a heart attack. And so she wasn't able to work that day. So, and she must not have gotten Sherry's phone number, because Sherry showed up for her appointment and here this other lady wasn't there. So I had a few minutes, and she was like, would you mind doing my hair? I just need it washed and styled. And I said, of course. So I did her hair, and that's all she wrote. And anytime her other hairstylist couldn't do her hair, then she would call me. And then eventually she had a knee replacement, and that's how she got sepsis, I think it was, or a blood disease. Anyway, she was in the hospital for quite some time with that. And then she never ended up being able to walk after that. So she was in a wheelchair. And so her husband had to then drive her to her appointments. And he didn't want to drive her all the way out to West Des Moines since they lived in Ankeny. So, but he was okay with bringing her to me. So then that's how I got started doing her hair on a weekly basis. So, and then she would get hair color also. So, but yeah, she's definitely one of those that have been missed. I've lost a handful over the years.
That's sweet. And, her husband putting, in the wheelchair, helping her in, helping her out. But every Wednesday, a standing appointment every single week.
And I was like the highlight of her week, because she didn't really get to go to very many places. Right. So I was always happy to be able to put a smile on her face and make her feel special and make her feel pretty. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Those are the kind of gems that make life and work just so much more. Yeah.
Definitely. That's the main reason I do what I do is to make people feel prettier about themselves, or make people feel better about themselves.
Yeah. When you like what you see in the mirror, that's so much easier. Right.
Yeah. When you're not happy with the way your hair looks, you're typically, can be, a lot of times you can make you depressed.
Right. Yeah. That bad hair day isn't just a thing. That can get serious.
Right. Mentally. Yes, definitely.
2020. Go back to when they shut everything down and you were closed. I mean, by mandate. And I don't even remember how long that was, but tell me about that period for you.
Well, it was a scary time. I was, like, okay, we're shut down. Like, what am I going to do? And at first it was only, she said a week. I think it was a week. And then she upped it to 2 weeks. And then it just kept getting going. And it ended up being an 8-week period. Thankfully, we were able to get there were some programs out there, Iowa Workforce Development, we could file for unemployment, even though most of us hairstylists don't pay in.
Right.
Yeah, we're self-employed. We don't pay for unemployment insurance.
Because you don't technically have employees.
Right. Exactly. But this has never happened before. So most of us didn't think, maybe just in case we have a pandemic, we should pay into Iowa Workforce Development. So yeah, I was very thankful that they put that program in place. And then they also came out with the PPP loans, which I was able to file for one of those. And that was actually more money a week for me than the unemployment was. So I was very, very grateful for that. So, but yes, it was definitely scary. But at the same time, I got to spend 8 weeks with my daughter, which, that was probably the best thing that came out of that.
Right.
And I really didn't, my clientele, they couldn't go anywhere else. So it's not like I was going to lose all my clientele because they just couldn't get their hair done whether they wanted to or not. So
Right. I mean, once you got shut down and then you were able to begin again.
Well, I mean, really the only thing that changed is I got super busy, at first, because I have all those people from backlogged, from 8 weeks that were desperate to get in. So I definitely did work some longer days and extra days and that to get all those desperate people in. So, and then also I had 2 people that retired that I knew, and they sent me quite a few clientele as well. So I was grateful for that. So I'm still busy to this day. I really haven't slowed down at all, except for I'm just not, seeing those desperate people anymore because we've been able to maintain their hairstyles now ever since. So, and I'm hoping and praying that doesn't ever happen again, but.
So Corinne, what do you love best about what you do?
Well, like I said, I love making people feel better about themselves, making people feel more brave or more assertive, or however getting their hair done makes them feel. When they text me and say, I love my new hairstyle, thank you so much, that makes my day. Absolutely. So that's definitely the main thing. I love doing hair colors and cutting. Those are definitely 2 of my main services that I do, that I love from the bottom of my heart and would never not want to do those 2 things.
Yeah.
As long as my hands and my body allow me.
Right. So do you see that you're just keep doing this until you retire?
Yeah, that's my plan.
Wonderful. This has been great, Corinne. I enjoy talking with you. I love your experiences that you are sharing with us. So thank you very much. Is there anything else you want to say or share before we wrap?
I do love what I do, and I'm glad that I've been successful at being my own boss for the last 10 years because I was really scared. I had friends going out on their own way before I did, and they're like, you just need to do it. Just do it. And when I finally did it, I'm like, geesh, why didn't I listen to them and do it a lot sooner?
Do it sooner.
But I truly feel like it was meant to happen when it happened.
That's beautiful. I love, that you to be proud of what you're doing, to be proud of being independent solo for 10 years and seeing that it happened at the right time. That's beautiful.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Well, thank you for sharing.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
So, thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. I'm Coach Christine Clark. This has been Forging a Life. My guest is Corinne Cole. Thank you so much, Corinne, for joining me today. It's been lovely.
Thank you for having me.